We got to talk about crypto. There's no other subject matter that I'm getting asked about more than cryptocurrency. And it almost seems multiple times per day. I've got clients or friends or just, people that know that I'm in finance asking about it. Um, what a subject matter. Talk to me about crypto for a second.
Well, I mean, right now it's obviously the biggest thing causing FOMO, right? Fear of
Yes.
missing out. I
Yes.
mean, when you have your Uber driver talking to you about, investing in this random cryptocurrency that popped up on the market last week, you know that you should probably take pause. I kind of look at crypto today as like the two faces of the crypto and blockchain world. So, what is cryptocurrency? Ultimately, it is the fuel underlying a decentralized network that allows transactions to take place.
So I think let's break that down a little bit for folks, right? Really, what people are creating with these cryptocurrencies are transactional networks, right? I mean,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's a way to transact business in what we think might be a more efficient way. Like, even take our business, for instance. If you sell a stock, it typically takes that day plus a few days to actually get paid the cash for the sale.
Hmm.
When you start adding in these different cryptocurrency platforms, they can make that transaction a whole lot more efficient and almost instantaneous, right? So you could see there's a lot of value in something like that. I think the problem that we've got, though, is people have no concept of what they're actually buying. Rather, they're just trying to get rich, in a sense.
Hmm.
I want to invest in Dogecoin because it's worth 40 cents now. And at the beginning of the year, it was worth a tenth of a penny. And oh my God, I missed out. I could have been a millionaire had I invested in January. Maybe there's still a chance that I can double, triple, quadruple my money, right? I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah, as of last week, I saw that there were well over 9,000 different types of crypto environments or different types of crypto networks out there or coins. I don't know if you can invest in them, but they are out there. I mean, you can essentially code one into existence essentially whenever you want. There's no barrier to entry. And that's really what happened with Dogecoin. This was something that was started essentially as a joke.
Right.
It was a meme put together by somebody that was very bored last year,
And then Elon starts using Twitter and talking about it.
and now collectively the Dogecoin environment is valued over $2.2 trillion. In fact, making matters even more bizarre, SpaceX is about to send Dogecoin to the moon, paid for in full by Dogecoin by a company that invested in it when it was getting started.
Yeah, so I saw the same thing as you. As of May 7th, cryptocurrency market cap as a whole is over 2 trillion. There's more cryptocurrency out there than there are actual US dollars in circulation. So it's not something we can ignore as advisors. Um, it's also not something that I think we're quite ready to embrace given the speculative nature of what's going on there. If you've got something that literally started as a joke, that doesn't have really any intrinsic value. And the only reason that it's going up in value is because people are paying more with the hopes of buying that dream that you bought, right? I'm going to get rich. I'm going to be able to retire on this $10,000 investment in Doge. That's a problem. And I think as a fiduciary, when we're talking to our clients about how do we keep you rich, not make you rich, it makes cryptocurrencies a very well, it's just an interesting topic because there certainly is merit there. There's some great technology there. But right now, I think people need to be careful.
Well, and I think we do. We've kind of taken one side, and I think we should look at the other side and look at the technology. And this whole world is full of buzzwords, and I basically had to look them up every single time that I catch a new one. And a lot of people have heard of Bitcoin. That was sort of the first one over the
Hmm.
wall. Bitcoin is looked at in the cryptocurrency world as digital gold. It's not necessarily a great tool for transactions, but what it's designed to do is just be a store of value over the long term. Ethereum was one of the sort of the next sort of altcoins that came to a head, and it's actually built on a different platform. It's built on a network to create smart contracts that allow independent parties to transact all over the world in a trustless environment. And there's some incredible merit and incredible applications that are being built on top of Ethereum. Again, I'm a very much of a novice in this whole thing, but if you think about what Ethereum is, it's looking at, the internet as, what is HTTP? Well, that's the protocol that apps like Facebook and Google are built on top of. And so what Ethereum is really the protocol that different applications are built on top of. And Ethereum seems to be the one where there's the most a widely used platform to create these new environments like Uniswap and others, where you can have decentralized finance or decentralized transactions taking place, where we don't have to trust each other to transact. You have a set of parameters, I have a set of parameters, and essentially the contract knows whether it's been fulfilled or not, whether you get the goods and I get paid.
I mean, think about how many different industries that could drastically change, right? The one that jumps out to me immediately is real estate, right? You do a real estate transaction, there's escrow, there's title, there's all these different entities getting paid, right, as part of the process. If you have some type of platform, a cryptocurrency platform that's able to cut out those middlemen and save cost, that's a disruptive technology. I mean, that's going to change that industry, right? And there's probably 100 others that we could name off and rattle off here very quickly. The problem that I have with cryptocurrency right now is not that I don't think there's a future for it. Is not that I don't think that there aren't some really neat applications for it. It's a very difficult asset class to value. And I think that the prices have gotten out of hand in many cases. And you've got, again, people jumping in. It's almost the GameStop phenomenon that we saw earlier this year, right? GameStop, $5 stock, trading at $300. Why? Because people thought it was going to go to the moon, right? I mean, that's the saying that people are talking about. And I think, again, it's just cryptocurrency. Could it eventually become something investable? Absolutely. Could we use it as an asset class? Absolutely. As we're starting to build out these asset allocations. Does it make a lot of sense right now, as speculative as it is? Well, I think only for that portion of your portfolio that you're comfortable losing, right? I mean, even with Dogecoin, Elon Musk is on Saturday Night Live, right? Makes a joke about it, and it drops 35% in one day. If you had a stock in your portfolio that dropped 35% in one day, you'd be freaking out, right? So why aren't people freaking out about it when it comes to cryptocurrencies? So I just think that's something that we need to think about and address.
I think it is a natural human tendency to want to focus on the positive elements. I guess there's a lot of folks that are afraid of their own shadow, and they're going to focus on the potential for loss. But in the world that we live in today, that is more interconnected than ever due to social media and the internet and so on and so forth, but also more disconnected than ever from a human standpoint. You have people living from behind a computer screen, and they're effectively, getting their exposure to the rest of the world through that portal. But what you're not getting fed back to you is what's going on outside the walls of our office right now. It's what people want, sort of their best foot forward, right? That shiny filtered image. And right now, that's essentially what's going on with folks that are investing in these areas that have no concept. We sit down and we dive into the investment world day in and day out. And there is so much for us to learn about this whole world, let alone somebody that doesn't have, potentially the background to even be able to traverse as far as we have. Mm-hmm. And yet there's unbelievable amounts of the net worth of, millennials and zennials that are being invested in these things, that on a dime, things could turn, and that little nest egg that you had on paper or in your crypto wallet perhaps is gone.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, right now, people need to understand that anything that can double overnight can also get cut in half overnight. There's a risk-reward relationship that we need to respect. And I think as far as cryptocurrency is concerned, people have lost that concept. If something's doubling, tripling, increasing at 10x over a very short period of time, that's probably something that has inherently a lot of risk involved in it. And you should only be investing in those things where you're comfortable with the risk level, right? I mean, our whole job is to keep emotions out of investing, right? We don't want people getting too hot or too cold because then they start to make the wrong decisions at the worst times. And I feel like cryptocurrency is one of those environments where it could really cause people to make some decisions that they normally wouldn't make because their emotions are getting in the way.
Well, and one of the elements that we haven't even touched on at all is the regulatory environment. We don't know how this is going to be treated by governments across the world. We've already seen Turkey and India have basically stepped up and said, no, no, you can't transact in that. You can't exchange our fiat currency for cryptocurrency. I mean, let alone our world of investing, you have to know your customer. There's anti-money laundering rules. So there's a lot of different components to this that are going to have to get sussed out. I think the 30-second takeaway, where do we stand on crypto right now, is it's not investable. Okay. Investments is something where you can have some semblance of an idea if you're paying fair value, if you're getting a discount,
Right.
if you're paying too much.
Right.
And right now, we really don't have any idea if that's the case. So our takeaway is that this is 100% speculative. And if you're considering it, then you should treat it as such.